Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my friends. This is me, Kivia, and this is my friend.
Anda Rawanisha Marutama.
We will discuss about citizenship. The title is Democracy in Indonesia. So, this is the democracy in history in Indonesia. But first of before going to our discussion or next slide, we would like to give you some short news video about democracy in Indonesia. This is we hope that you like. Okay, so happy watching.
These were the biggest student protests in Indonesia in more than 20 years. With demonstrations across the archipelago, from Sumatra to Sulawesi. The protesters were voicing their anger over law reforms, as well as changes that would weaken the nation's anti-corruption agency, known as the KPK. The Parliament's plan to overhaul the colonial-era criminal code included provisions that would limit sexual and reproductive rights and make it illegal to insult the president. There are ideological divisions among the protest groups, and their demands are varied, but they do appear united in their desire to hold on to democratic freedoms. This movement is seen as a test of both President Joko Widodo's leadership and Indonesian democracy. There has been a win of sorts for protesters. The president has pushed back Parliament's vote on changes to the penal code.
Saya juga memerintahkan Menteri Hukum dan HAM untuk kembali menjaring masukan-masukan dari berbagai kalangan masyarakat sebagai bahan untuk menyempurnakan RUU KUHP yang ada.
But the bill curbing the abilities of the anti-corruption watchdog has already passed. Joko Widodo, commonly called Jokowi, hasn't ruled out reviewing it again. But there is frustration here that the changes were even put forward in the first place.
We reject the revision of the anti-corruption law, which has weakened the KPK, because it's illogical and unreasonable.
It's just a few months since Jokowi won office for the second time. The first time around, he campaigned on a reformist agenda. As part of his campaign this year, he ran on a platform of clean governance. So the changes which went before the parliament and the president's initial support for them have disappointed some of his base. The protests have also shown that for some of the public, there are real fears about the health of Indonesia's democracy, even under a democratically elected president. On October 20, Jokowi will be inaugurated for his next 5 years in office. One of the most immediate challenges he'll have to address will be the political unrest created in the last days of his first term. Natalie Pohanen, The Newsmakers.
Of democracy in Indonesia according in 2023. Okay, so now I will explain about democracy according Abraham Lincoln. He is the 16th president of the United States. He said that democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So, democracy that makes the people are the ultimate holders of power. So we are all the ultimate holders of our regions, Indonesia. That Indonesia is the one of the countries that adhere to a democratic system. The democratic system practiced in Indonesia is called Pancasila democracy. Then what is Pancasila democracy? Pancasila democracy, it means that the administration of the government must be based on the principle of Pancasila. Nah, in the Pancasila, there is 5 sila. That first is ketuhanan yang Maha Esa. Second is kemanusiaan yang adil dan beradab. Third is persatuan Indonesia. Fourth, kerakyatan yang dipimpin oleh hikmat kebijaksanaan dan dalam permusyawaratan atau perwakilan. Fifth is keadilan sosial bagi seluruh rakyat Indonesia. So, how is the implementation of Pancasila democracy in Indonesia? So, the implementation is placing the majority and minority groups with equal rights and protection by the state because all are equal. So, about between human to human is same, nothing difference among us. So, an example, okay. So, the next is the distribution of democracy in Indonesia. The distribution of democracy in Indonesia, there's two. First is direct democracy, and second is indirect democracy. The direct democracy is the election of the president and vice president, the election of regional heads and deputy regional heads or wali kota, as well as the election of village heads who are elected directly by the people. So we choose the people directly, like pemilu. Okay, that is direct democracy. So while indirect democracy is the legislative body responsible for conveying the mandate and aspirations of the people. So the institutions whose job is to convey the mandate and aspirations of the people in government. So Indonesia has indirect democracy, has members of the institution are directly elected by the people through general elections. We known as DPD RI or regional representative council or Dewan Perwakilan Daerah. So MPR, People Consultative Assembly, or in Indonesia we call it Majelis Permusyawaratan Rakyat. DPR or Indonesia People Representative Council or Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat, and DPRD is People Representative Council or Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat Daerah. However, the members who fill this institution are still directly elected by the people in Indonesia. So the next discussion will explain to with sister, my friends Zahrawani Syam. Okay, time for her.
Okay. The development of democracy in Indonesia, citizens, democracy is being practiced. Indonesia, from time to time, has its own dynamics. So that the development of democracy can be grouped into several paths as follows. The first one is parliamentary democracy. The period of parliamentary democracy at the beginning of independence. Indonesia adopt a parliamentary democracy system with a strong multi-party system. The enactment of the Constitution of the Republic of United States of Indonesia in 1949 resulted in Indonesia being divided into several states. Apart from that, The government is run by the Prime Minister, while the President only serves as a symbol of government. Here are several characteristics of parliamentary democracy. Legislative power is above the executive. The DPR can overthrow the cabinet. The president is only a symbol and a head of the state. The government is responsible to the cabinet. The cabinet is headed by the prime minister. There are many parties developing. Decisions making is based on majority. Making decision based on the majority vote, a parliamentary democratic system, this gives rise to various complex problems, ranging from tensions between parties that prioritize their own party group, changing cabinets to the development process, and next, hampered by this worrying situation, President Sukarno issued a presidential decree on July 5, 1959. With the issuance of the decree, parliamentary democracy indeed guided democracy or the old order. Some of characteristics of guided democracy are as follows. The existence of a people's response representative institution. The president's power are unlimited. Party simplification. Freedom of the press is prohibited. The position of the president as head of government form nationalist communist axis or NASACOM, politics oriented towards communist countries, and Abri's role in politics. The guided democracy system places the president as the core holder of power. Several irregularities that occurred at this time include the appointment of a lifetime president. Living Trough TAP MPRS number 3 MPRS 1963 deviation is foreign policy, namely the cooperation carried out by Indonesia only with countries of communist socialist origin. On the contrary, it was in confrontation with almost all Western countries. The disbandment of the Masyumi Party and the Indonesian National Party, which is were in line with the values Pancasila, but allowing the Indonesian Communist Party, which is not in accordance with the basic values of the states. Of course, this deviation threatens the stability of the country. The result of violation of Pancasila and the 1945 Constitution, the guided democracy government. The 30th PKI incident, which resulted in death of high-ranking army officers, gave rise to various reactions from various levels of society. The community issued three demands known as Tritura, which is demand the dissolution of the PKI, the cleansing of PKI elements in the cabinet, lowering price and improving the economy. The people's demands finally came to fruition. The president issued the March 11th order, or known as Super Semar. Not long after that, the government was transferred to President Soeharto, known as the New Order Pass of Pancasila Democracy, the New Order from 1966 to 1998. Several the characteristics of democracy in this period are as follows. Rotation of executive power almost never occur. Political recruitment is closed. General election was spared or is far from democratic values. Repressive government. At this time, the government was run in authoritarian manner. During this period, the government was run in authoritarian manner with reaction on freedom of opinion, control of parties and controlled elections. The power that accumulated in the hands of the president gave rise to corruption, collusion, and nepotism. Finally, in 1998, there was a mass action demanding that President Suharto step down and carry out reforms in various fields. This action resulted in President Suharto handing over his position to Engineer Baharudin Yusuf Habibie. Demokrasi Pancasila in reform era from 1998 until now. In this era, Pancasila and the 1945 Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia were implemented by improving the implementation and improving undemocratic regulations. So the role of institutions was also maximized. There are authority and responsibility functions.
Okay. This is Pancasila Demokrasi or New Order atau Orde Baru, President of Republik Indonesia, Constitutional Court of the Republic Indonesia. There is MPR RI. In the middle, there is President of the Republic of Indonesia. In the right, there is Constitutional Court of the Republic of Indonesia. So, in Pancasila Demokrasi or in Orde Baru, there is three political system, which is there's executive, legislative, and judicial. Direct general election are held. Political parties develop. Freedom of opinion is expanded. That is, we call it human right, like president and other people's representative. The second, the public has the right to voice and have an opinion, so we can give our voice to the government. Third is freedom of opinion. Okay. Pancasila Democracy New Order. The role of the community is very important in the Pancasila democracy system. So the success of democracy is in all of our hands as the people holders of the highest power. So continue to meet friends and share so that we can maintain democracy together. So